Greetings, productive programmer. So now we are going to set up comments so that users can leave comments on anyone's story. And to do that, we can take advantage of our Phoenix LiveView generators again. So to do this, we can go ahead and run the command mix phoenix gen live, and we will run the command comments. That'll be our context, and then we'll have a comment, and the plural form of that would be comments. Our comments will just store a message, which will be of form of type text. And what we can do is when we're generating these comments, we know that the comments are going to be associated with some story. So we can go ahead and describe that right here in our LiveView generator. So we'll have our story ID be a references. So we're saying story ID references stories. And what that's going to do is we're going to have a story ID field essentially on our comments. Very similar to how in our story we have a user ID in our database that references the user. We're going to have a story underscore ID which references the stories. So there will be a new comment schema that will be generated that will point to this story. So let's go ahead and run this command, and this will generate out all of our files. We can see that we also get these notes here about add the live routes to your browser scope, and you can add these to your scope and do that if you wanted to use these routes, but we're not going to use these actually. So there's a different use case here, and basically for the comments that we've created, which are going to be under the comment live folder inside of our blog web live comment live. So we don't actually need any of these endpoints here. Our comments, they're actually going to exist specifically on our stories. And so we're not going to allow these endpoints to function for right now. So what we can do for now is we can just ignore this. But it does say that it wants us to run mix ecto migrate. And so if we come back to our website, then we can just run that command by also clicking the button. Again, that's the same thing. So we're just going to run those migrations. And what that's done is it's gone ahead, it's run this new create comments migration file that was generated for us, which is built off of the comment schema that was also generated for us. So now we have in our blog comments, so we have our comments module, and this comment module defines the message and the story ID that he referenced before. So very similar to before how we had our stories, which we're making an association from to user ID. This by default just generates a story ID here that when we have a comment, we'll associate it to a user ID. So just like we changed the user underscore ID to belongs to the user, we will update the comment schema to belong to the story in a minute. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to end this lesson here because we've run this Phoenix LiveView generators. So what I'm going to do is just end it here, so that way if you need to use the project example files, they'll basically be the example files after we've immediately set up all of these LiveView generators. So I'll see you over in the next lesson where we continue our journey with our comments, and we'll go ahead. Now that we have the schema generated, we need to add them and basically insert them here into our stories. And we build in the functionality so that users can leave comments directly on a story. And again, just remember, we did not put these routes here in our router because we're not going to directly access the routes for the comments. Those will be here in our stories actually. So we're just going to insert them into our existing routes. So again, you don't have to do anything with these. You can leave these out of your router for now.